Executive Officer Tony Rouhotas. Are you there?
I'm here, sir.
And I can hear you loud and clear, and not everything else as well. This is the coronavirus update. I hope we have some good information because it took us a while to get here, didn't it?
So this could have been a comedy show for the first few minutes if it was broadcasted to the public there, George.
If it wasn't such a serious subject matter, yeah, we could use it like that.
Hey, we got to have a laugh every now and then to break the monotony, buddy.
Exactly. And when you put idiots on the board, that's what you get. You know, it's like the monkeys running the house. Anyway, Tony, the coronavirus update, is there anything to update? One thing that I wanted to get you to is that's been in the news is that petition to the governor for the Board of Supervisors. Why do we need that petition, and why do we want to skip that metric?
So what the board has asked for and what was drafted by staff and sent to the governor's office was to move California altogether. We realize that we still have a lot of activity occurring within the county. We have a great deal of measures that we're putting in place and precautions that we're taking. However, you know, there's certain industries, and we hear the people asking, and we know there's certain industries that want to open, and we want to be able to facilitate the opening back of our county as soon as possible, but yet still having restrictions and safety measures in place and creating a balancing act. We realize that we can't just open everything immediately, but we would like to start phasing in certain operations that are could assist the county in both, you know, say like restaurants, getting restaurants open back up, but doing so in a safe capacity where you still have safe distancing precautions in place. And getting our economy going, getting business rolling again the way it should. I think a lot of these businesses are operating at a very small percentage of what they're used to operating at, and we need to create that capacity and bring them back up to speed.
And the word on the street that I am hearing, though, is shouldn't we get the metric to stop the growth of the amount of positive cases before we go that next step?
And that's why I mentioned the balancing act is we still have a lot of messaging. We still have a lot of safety precautions in place, and none of these places would be reopened without instituting the same type of measures.
Okay. Is there any chance the governor will approve this request?
We don't know. We're still waiting, but we will be following up with that office today and asking for further details.
Okay. The request was just submitted this week, so...
That's correct. It was submitted Wednesday morning.
Maybe a couple of days.
Yeah.
Anything else newer than that going on?
No, I would just like to let the public know, we've made some changes to our dashboard on the public health website. There's a great deal of information located on the dashboard under both the roadmap to recovery and the statistical charts on the dashboard itself. So if the public's looking for details, I know through social media we've seen some of the comments or requests, and we've tried to implement that in the dashboard to show the details that the public's been asking for. So there is changes. There's more changes to be coming, but we are trying to reflect the information that's been requested.
Okay, we have that story in the local news today, so we could maybe suggest they listen to Kxo News and get a brief overview of that, of the changes. The one thing that I am always asked, and I don't know why they ask me because I don't work for you or the public health department, but everybody wants to know how come the numbers are different on the reports. They get reports. There is one news outlet that reports everything on the sheriff's log, and how come those are not appearing on the stats from the county? My explanation, correct me if I'm wrong, is that nothing can appear on the county's official report until it's verified.
That's correct.
And so once it's verified, then it'll be included in the numbers. But until then, it's not part of the count.
That's a great point. The epidemiology team and the data tracking team over at the public health department are doing a phenomenal job. And that's what they're doing. It's cross-verification, making sure those people actually reside within Imperial County, cross-referencing the names, the zip codes, the actual information, and the confirmation of the testing that's occurring. So what you have is verified information that has been verified by the health department and adjusting as times take place.
Okay. Now, you're not alone. You've got the good doctor, Cathy Stats. She is the EMS medical director with the health department. She is with you. She's going to talk about that little setup they have at IBC, right?
That's correct. Dr. Stats played a vital role along with the county EMS department in setting up the field medical station out at the IVC Medical Center. She's also the doctor that oversees a lot of our EMS protocols and works with our paramedics and EMTs out in the field and fire department personnel. So yeah, I'd like to turn it over to her. She's done a phenomenal job and she's a great asset to Imperial County.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So I did want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has helped put up our alternate care site or our field medical station over the last few weeks. It has been a huge effort from both our state and federal partners and ultimately has resulted in an 80-bed alternate care site in the Imperial Valley College Gymnasium, where we were able to take patients that potentially would be using one of the hospital beds in one of our two hospitals and place them in the gymnasium where they're able to have 24-hour assistance with nurses and paramedics. They are typically patients that require a little bit less medical attention, and so it's really been a vital way for us to help the hospitals during this time when there has been such a surge from COVID in the area, to have these patients go to another area, heal in that area, and then potentially go home from this alternate care site. Since it opened on May 25th, we have taken 13 patients at the IVC site, and already we've had 7 safe discharges home. So I think that really speaks to the excellent group effort that it's been and the asset that it is to the county.
That is positive news going towards the surge, isn't it? Didn't we expect more than that to be out there? More patients?
So right now, I think it's tough to say. We do continue to hear that cases are climbing in Mexicali, and as we are a binational community, as long as our neighbors continue to see COVID, we likely will as well. So we plan to keep this alternate care site up as long as we need it, and right now the state is very supportive of that as well.
Okay, and there's another field station at the Brawley Hospital, isn't there?
So both hospitals have tents placed outside their emergency departments, and those have been excellent in helping respond to maybe the patients that are a bit less sick with COVID. And so what both hospitals have been able to do is if somebody has influenza-like symptoms or cough, congestion, if they're not significantly ill, they can screen them, potentially get them started on any sort of symptomatic control from within those tents, and potentially discharge them from the tents without having to put significant strain on their emergency department.
Okay, and I don't know if you could clarify one thing that's going around that I heard. In fact, it affected my child. Was that the coronavirus? They told us that it's not all COVID-19. There's some lesser viruses that are classified in the coronavirus categories.
For sure. So coronavirus itself is actually a very common type of virus. When we think of the common cold, it's one of the more common viruses that causes symptoms like that. You may have heard of ones like rhinovirus would be another example. So coronavirus is a family of viruses. This year's strain, COVID-19, is a very dangerous strain, but it still falls within that coronavirus family. So there's a whole range, and unfortunately this year, because it likely came from a bat or a zoonotic source, makes it much more dangerous to humans than other coronaviruses.
Okay, what happened to my daughter, and maybe you can tell me how common this is that she went and tested, and she tested positive. But it turned out they gave her some medicine and told her to isolate for 5 days and she'd be okay. I never heard of that. So we got another doctor explained to us that that was just a lesser form of the coronavirus, treatable, and she did the swab in her nose and tested negative. So does that happen quite often?
And I am sorry to hear that your daughter got sick. So it sounds like maybe a few different things could have happened. One, other coronaviruses sometimes will falsely be falsely positive on a test for COVID-19, and so potentially that could have been it. She may have also had one of these sort of less dangerous coronaviruses, or the third option is maybe she had a less sort of significant presentation of COVID-19, and often if someone does go to the hospital, their symptoms are not that bad. They are asked to stay at home, take care of themselves until they feel better and are cleared to
Okay. I didn't want to turn it all on me. I just was wondering if that's a common occurrence that, scare the heck out of a lot of people. A false negative.
For sure. The coronavirus itself, or the class of coronaviruses, are pretty common. I believe it's up to 20% of the common cold viruses are the sort of less dangerous coronavirus variety.
Okay. All right, Doctor. Thank you for what you're doing, and you are one of our heroes in the Valley that we very much appreciate. How long do you see the field station being open, or is there any way to predict that?
It's very tough to predict, but we have, it is both a state resource, and we've also had help from our federal partners in putting it up, and we have been told that it will be supported as long as it's needed. Right now it is tough to say, but we will continue to use it as long as hospitals need help offloading their less ill patients.
Okay, and I think I think we all understand well, I hope we do, the seriousness of following the guidances of keeping our mouths covered and wash our hands and stay away from people. Is there any positive news? Is there anything, a light at the end of the tunnel yet?
So there have been some news in the past few days that one of the coronavirus vaccines appears to potentially be moving to clinical trials, which I think is fantastic news, because I think once we are able to have people potentially with a vaccine that has good efficacy, we'll be able to maybe get on the other side of this virus.
Okay. I thank you for talking with us today, Doctor. Tony, always nice to talk to you. I'm sorry it took so long to get here, but technology, it just got me baffled. I don't know about you.
Not a problem, George. A little chuckle at the beginning of the day helps us get through it, right?
There you go.
Hey, George, you brought up a great point. We need to continue to make sure we do take our safety precautions, face coverings, continue washing our hands, social distancing, but also I think one of the most important things is if you feel sick, stay home, recover, and that's just advice that we need to keep spreading and putting out there to make sure that we all get through this as soon as possible.
And I think that's paramount, isn't it, Tony, that you stay home and recover, is the fact that if you stay home, the chances are pretty good you are going to recover, but if you don't, it's disaster.
Well, and also, if you're not feeling well, the last thing you want to do is go out into the community and expose others.
Well, yeah, but
it's a duty that we need to take on ourselves, be responsible, and help us help you. I've said that several times. If we all do our part, we'll get through this.
Very good point. Thanks for talking to us, Tony. You'll get Carol back next week. You can go back to the county now and say, I had the idiot today.
No, never say that, George. You're always great to us, and we truly appreciate our partnership with you.
I appreciate the patience, and I appreciate the information. Thank you, people, both of you, Tony and Dr. Cathy.
Take care, buddy.
Good luck, good luck, Dr. Cathy. You're doing a great job, and Tony, you're doing good too.
Thanks, bud.
That's Tony Rouhotas, the County CEO, and Dr. Cathy Stats, the EMS Medical Director at the County Public Health Department.
Big news.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello, Barney.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Bonjour.
Hi. How you doing there? Yellow. Hello.
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 Yo. Hello.
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 Hello.